Does the weather really affect you that much? And I have a couple of friends who, every time I see them, they're like, the day is like this, the day is like that. I don't know, this strange weather, it has a strange effect on me. And I found that there's two types of people. One type is who always complains about the weather and how it affects them, and the other one is the one that doesn't. And I just found it really strange. And it's like, is it really that some people are sensitive so much to the weather and some people aren't? Until I found myself doing the same thing. The reality is that um, if you were to live alone in the forest or somewhere, you really wouldn't notice that something is bad. So let's say it's a rainy day and you'd say, oh, it's kind of rainy, it's depressing, I feel depressed. But the reality is that you only learn that a day is depressed when you start talking to other people. And then they say, well, it's kind of depressed. You start looking at their faces, and because the sun isn't shining, they're all glum, and you're like, oh, man, you see? The weather, it's because of the weather. The weather is bad, so the feeling of people, everybody feels bad. So I should feel bad as well. And then you're like, oh, man, it's the weather. This weather is terrible. It's a depressed day. Now, here's what I found. Weather does affect you a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. It affects your mood. It affects your overall level of energy. Behind me, I have a fireplace. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a fireplace here behind me. Okay, it's a really cool fireplace. I'll show you during the winter. But this fireplace, one thing I've noticed is that if the sun is up, if the sky is blue, even if it's winter time, if the sky is blue, you have some winter days when the sky is just beautiful. I'll put some wood in it and light a match, and it will just start burning. The fire will just go. However, if the climate, if it's kind of foggy, if it's the day is kind of depressed and there's rain and the pressure is low, then the wood is going to take some time to burn. And I'll throw a match, and the match will go off, and then I'll have to put another one, and so on and so forth. It's going to take a while to make the fire burn. So does the weather really affect you? The answer is yes, a little bit, but that's not the end thing. That's not the end moment. Okay, I just found that, for example, during hot summer days, people are more on the outside because the pressure is higher, but also the heat is there, so we feel hot, we want to get out of our comfort place. We just want to go somewhere where we can cool off. But when the weather is kind of rainy and it's kind of depressed, people want to snuggle in their bed, maybe watch a movie, get some cocoa or coffee, just enjoy their moment. And what I found is that for me personally, I do a lot more of work when days are kind of glum, when days are kind of rainy. I feel more energized for whatever reason because I don't have the weather on my mind. Like, oh, it's a sunny weather, I want to go out and do something, I can just focus on my work. So, whatever the weather is, ask yourself, is it really affecting me? If you're one of those people who the weather affects so much, ask yourself, is that really the case? Can you do something to not affect you as much? If you're bothered with it. One thing that I've noticed is if I go to the gym and I have a really good workout and I get a cup of coffee after it, I feel great no matter the weather. The weather can be sunny or rainy. If I go to the gym and I have physical movement, physical workout, I have sweat coming down my body, then I feel great. I feel amazing no matter what the weather is. So your disciplines, your daily habits are going to determine how you feel, not outside environment. Okay, I call this functioning from your core, but I'll talk more about it in some other video. Just for now, you're not a complete victim of your environment, of your weather. Okay, if it's the weather, if it's anything else, you are in control and you have much more control than you think. So if the weather is bad, put on some raincoats, go for a run, and I promise you, you'll feel amazing.